to the test. Caribbean is the best. Hey, I put things to the test. Caribbean inside is the best. Hey, Caribbean inside is the best. Better than the rest. Hey, hey, and on YouTube. Hey, so don't find me rude.
This is the movement of our people, our history, and our culture to the world.
I bring a rhythm to defend the tradition. Our back jam, back drum on the bass. This is Brother Resistance. I'm here with Caribbean Inside TV, keeping the culture alive. You hear?
Thank you for making Caribbean Insight your #1 stop for culture. Today we have over 10,000 subscribers. You have showed your interest in keeping Caribbean culture alive. We are offering you our t-shirt collections. Shirts that invoke thoughts and empowerment. They are collector's items and memorabilia. For your participation, go to the link below and make your contribution to foster the value of our Caribbean cultural stories. Thank you for your support as we continue to develop.
I am Alston Beckett Cyrus. Whenever I'm in North America, I look at Caribbean Insight with Lady V.
Welcome to Caribbean Insight. I'm your host, Lady V. On this episode, we will overview the evolvement of the largest cultural event in New York, the West Indian Carnival in Brooklyn. Now, this festival has become synonymous with Labor Day. Carnival was introduced to America in the early 1940s by a group of Trinidadians under the leadership of Miss Jessie Waddell. Dressed in costumes reminiscent of those worn at Carnival in Trinidad, the masqueraders celebrated the festival at the Harlem ballrooms. Soon, other Caribbean groups joined the festivity, and the Savoy and Audubon ballrooms became inadequate to house this grand affair. It was impossible to parade through the snow-lined February and March streets, and consequently, an alternative holiday was chosen to celebrate the festival, and Labor Day was selected. The carnival lasted until 1964, when a small riot disrupted the parade. The following year, the police refused to grant a permit, bringing a halt to the street festival after 17 years. Meanwhile, a second wave of West Indians began arriving in New York and made Brooklyn their home. And in 1965, mass band leader Rufus Goring, who had marched with Jessie Waddell in Harlem, with the help of Carlos Lezama, secured the first permit to bring a carnival mass band out on a narrow residential street in Brooklyn.
There was a man by the name of Rufus Lionel Goring. I saw that man after a big audience going all behind him, and he started crying for whatever reason, just crying. And I told him, "What's wrong?" He says he has nobody to help him. And I turned and said, "I will help you." And that started the ball rolling.
Carlos met me one year and he told me, he said, "Listen, I need your help." At that time, we hardly had any costume out there in the Parkway. It was the band and vehicles. We was going to Rochester at that time. It's had about, let's say, I think it's about 3 or 4 bands. Sailor band, steel band, and people just jumping ordinary. Rufus Goring was there with us. Daphne Weeks was there. People didn't want to play maps. There was the shy part of it because they did not want to walk the street with a costume on. It was a new culture that we brought to the United States. Some people didn't know anything about it. When they come around to carnival time, we used to give different shows. And they used to pay Rufus Goring to bring in people to display the costume in the dance. The reason of that, a lot of people could not travel at that time to go back home for carnival. So that was a spirit of carnival in the dance. That's what where it used to be years ago.
I went to the Brooklyn Museum grounds with my daughter. She was little, and I'm standing at the foot of the stage waiting for her to come off. Over the mic I heard Joyce, "Kwame, now please come to the end of the stage." And then I was approached by a member of West Indian American Day Carnival Association, and he said to me, "Could you do some judging for us tonight?" I did judging that night, and I did judging the Sunday night, and I was asked to do some judging on the road on the Monday. And that's how the whole thing started.
Carlos Lezama was looking at a culture, different culture aspect of the Children's Carnival. And he wanted to do everything and bring it to a higher level.
Okay.
And it really started behind the Brooklyn Museum. And as it started to get big, Joyce came up with the idea to bring it on President Street. Then as it get bigger, they move it from President Street to on St. John. And right now, the location is on St. John still. It goes down to Kingston Avenue, to St. Mark's to Franklin, Franklin up to President Street into the Brooklyn Museum. For the past couple of years, the Children's Carnival is getting bigger and bigger every year.
Right.
And the kids really come out to show their culture. It's the kids that really make this thing happen. The reason I'm saying this, years ago the adults didn't want to walk the street with a costume. And since the kids and them start to show the adults what the culture is all about, that's when the people really start to give that pride and start walking the street with costume. People used to come on Eastern Parkway and put on their costume. They didn't want to walk the street. Working with the kids, it gave me a different inspiration out there to see the kids and them performing out there. And when I mean performing, you put a kid in a costume, it's glory.
The Kiddies Carnival, or what we now refer to as the Junior Carnival, has certainly grown over the last 3 or 4 years. It's no more 1 or 2 bands. We have upwards of 16 bands of kids tracking down Kingston Avenue on their way to the back of the Brooklyn Museum.
Well, right now we are doing something for District 17. Because what we're really trying to do is to bring the culture into the schools.
These are the children and grandchildren of the Caribbean immigrants portraying our culture on the streets of Brooklyn. When we come back, we look at how mass evolved in New York.
Now, I'm trying to figure out how I reach here. I am in my bed doing my normal thing of looking at Caribbean Insights. So, I like to get my information on what's going on. But I am on the set. So, while I am here, I am going to tell you, in order to keep our information alive, Caribbean Insights, you do your thing by making that contribution.
We are offering you our t-shirt collections. Shirts that invoke thoughts and empowerment. They are collector's items and memorabilia. For your participation, go to the link below and make your contribution to foster the value of our Caribbean cultural stories. Thank you for your support as we continue to develop.
My parents are from Barbados. I was only born in Trinidad. I'm from Basilon Street. I'm a Renegades girl.
Okay.
And I played mass with George Bailey. And I came up here and I played mass there, up here for some years. Okay. I remember when Mr. Lezama asked me to join the organization. That time Rufus Goring was the president. And we'll have the meetings over by his house and he would cook. And Rufus always used to bring out a mass band. There weren't a lot of mass bands and costumes. So Mr. Lezama used to buy the costumes for the members, some of the members who wanted to play, and to enhance the parade. So that's when I played mass. We kept those costumes, and different people would come and ask us to come and portray them for different shows. And they will give us a little stipend for that.
We've been partaking in this festival 17 years or more. In 1970, we played an African, which was something to really see. From there, I went into an on-the-sea mass. I played Fancy Sailor. 1979, I played the Saga of Pagan History. 1980, I played Odin's Dream. All in all, the best year I think was 83. Played Oblivion. Mass making a rapid improvement from the time I started.
Relocated is a band that has been started about 20 years now. In the beginning, we started to play like mud mass, paint mass. Until 4 years ago, we decided to hire a designer, yours truly. And what I did was gradually brought them out of the mud. It's happening. What we hope for is really happening right now. To bring mass in New York that could be compared to anywhere in the world, as a matter of fact. And the other band leaders are doing the same thing. The mass is being upgraded every year.
The name of the mass is This Is Mass. And the reason for This Is Mass is we decided to go into something a little different this year. Later on today, we're going to have buses coming in from Hawks International in Montreal and Toronto. We're going to have people coming in from Detroit by plane later on this afternoon.
We did mass with like Brooklynairs, Steel Band, and Mood Steel Band. And then we took a layoff for about 3 to 4 years. That's when like the violence took over Eastern Parkway. There was a band in Trinidad who portrayed Savage 1988. I saw it, it looked good, I liked the concept, and I decided to do it here.
What we're doing here with Savage is that we're exposing the masquerade of savagery. It's savages against apartheid, savages against people being savage. We just let it unmasking the savage, the inner savagery of humanity today.
Well, Sesame Fly started in 1983. We started as a family group trying to do things for our kids, our close friends. And we just grew into something that is well respected in the community. That's what Sesame Flies is about. We're about working with our young people and developing their minds and keeping the culture.
I would refer to Backstreet International as a family-oriented organization. A number of kids come by with their parents. We give the kids lots of opportunities to develop their creative sides. Over the years, we have paid a lot of attention to the cultural part of the organization, but we have neglected some of our social developments, particularly in terms of continuing the art of mass building.
Started out in St. Lucia and came up to the States here now and just doing our thing for the first time with the St. Lucian Carnival Band. We had a couple bands before, but this year we actually doing it with a younger generation, as you can see. Okay. You know, we basically had a more mature crowd doing it before, but now we are the more computer savvy generation, as I like to call them. Okay. You know, so we're just trying to do our thing and get it on the road. First, I must say thank you very much to Whitaker for the generous contribution that they have given our camp, which actually helped bring our mass alive, help us to actually give away some costumes to some people that actually had no money and really wanted to help bring the mass out there on the Eastern Parkway.
This is We Culture, this is We Dance, and one of our major exports to the Americas for the past 80 years. It's only happening where? On CITV.
This is boy Aaron Duncan speaking, and we keeping culture alive with Caribbean Insight TV.
Thank you for making Caribbean Insight your #1 stop for culture. Today we have over 10,000 subscribers. You have showed your interest in keeping Caribbean culture alive. We are offering you our t-shirt collections. Shirts that invoke thoughts and empowerment. They are collector's items and memorabilia. For your participation, go to the link below and make your contribution to foster the value of our Caribbean cultural stories. Thank you for your support as we continue to develop.
You remember when Panorama started? How many bands were there at that time taking part in the finals?
In 1976. At that time, we had between 5 to 4 bands.
What kind of purse does the first prize winner take home in the Panorama?
To the best of my knowledge, I think it's somewhere in the vicinity of about $15,000 to $20,000.
The Steve Band is our ambassadors. They sell the name of Sesame throughout the New York metropolitan area. This year they're going to Panorama, and we're hoping to win this year.
What the band, the Panorama reached to, nobody in New York wasn't expecting something like that to happen. Because right now you're dealing with 15, 16, 17, 18 bands. into the panorama now. We come in almost to complete with Trinidad. So that means to say people is traveling from all over now trying to hear what the panorama is all about. That we call the pan-paternity, trying to bring everybody together for us to have a very good panorama.
In 2003, the great Clyde Bradley led the Pantonic Steel Orchestra in Brooklyn. Had reached its pinnacle in Brooklyn, and in 2019, Rados stole the crown. It's only happening where? On CITV. And when we come back, we look at the evolution of steel band and Juve.
As you know, I'm the Lord Kitchen, and I'm having a wonderful time here with Caribbean Insight. I think it's a wonderful organization, and I hope you will do as I do, keep listening to them.
Thank you for making Caribbean Insight your #1 stop for culture. Today we have over 10,000 subscribers. You have showed your interest in keeping Caribbean culture alive. We are offering you our t-shirt collections, shirts that invoke thoughts and empowerment. They are collector's items and memorabilia. For your participation, go to the link below and make your contribution to foster the value of our Caribbean cultural stories. Thank you for your support as we continue to develop.
Any blessing, and you don't know, so we link up with 1K, and you don't know when we're in Bronx or Brooklyn or anywhere in New York, we listen to Caribbean Insights.
In the early 1990s, steel pan music was almost non-existent in the Eastern Parkway Carnival Parade. This led to the creation of Juve on Flatbush. Okay. King is the founder of Juve City International. And I got Earl on the line. So Earl, tell us how it all started.
I came to Brooklyn in 1970. So that was something special to me, you know. Like I come in here in this country and steel band really wasn't participating in the carnival atmosphere of the thing. It started by chance, you know. There were guys in the community who pan around in, like there was a band called Pan. They hit the street first with two little pans, you know, and it wasn't an impact about you, but it was a start to what you did. And then we had a bigger band in the community called Golden Stars, you know. They follow right after. I was one of the persons who demonstrated the need to move away from the Parkway and let us create our own environment for steel band. And it's something that has been created for steel band music only. And that's how Juve started.
Roy Pierre is a leading mass designer in the Juve. He won the title 7 times. How does he do it?
I have a reputation of being a mass man of high caliber mass for Juve.
Right.
But this is the mass I have in me. And when I speak with my associate Mervyn Taylor, I tell him my dreams and what I want to do.
Right.
And I said, we're going to Australia. We're going to deal with the Aborigine.
Okay.
He said, where are you going with that? I said, Boomerang.
And the Juve has exploded in 2019. Now remember to wear your mask. Take care of yourself and each other. Nobody does it like CITV as we continue with the evolution of Brooklyn Carnival. And when we come back, we will see how politics evolved in the carnival.
I am Winston Henry, better known as the Explainer, and when I'm in New York, I look at Caribbean Insight, the Rasmus man.
Thank you for making Caribbean Insight your #1 stop for culture. Today we have over 10,000 subscribers. You have showed your interest in keeping Caribbean culture alive. We are offering you our t-shirt collections, shirts that invoke thoughts and empowerment. They are collector's items and memorabilia. For your participation, go to the link below and make your contribution to foster the value of our Caribbean cultural stories. Thank you for your support as we continue to develop.
I'm Kimberly Thompson. I'm a former masquerader. Right now I'm working at the West Indian Carnival Association. I'm inviting my posse to come down from the Bronx, Mount Vernon, Brooklyn, Boston, LA, and even my posse in England to share the vision and strengthen the belief.
During the 1990s, there was already tension between the Jews and Caribbeanites in Crown Heights. And then this happened.
Gavin was struck and killed by a car from a motorcade carrying the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Menachem Schneerson.
Wagon came onto the sidewalk and crashed into him while he was fixing his bike. His 7-year-old cousin Angela also hit but survived.
Racially fueled violence and lawlessness that this neighborhood endured.
In 1991, we invited about a dozen rabbis to march with us.
Okay.
But the best part of that was everybody was scared that we were going to have a riot. The rabbis sent a letter asking to marshal the parade. Mr. Lezama asked Mr. Howard to go back and tell them we welcome them to come and join us in marching. And it was such a great feeling that we ourselves, our organization, established the peace that permeated from then. And that was the beginning of the healing process.
Well, no, my daughter is the one that took over, and I am very proud of both Angela and Rolanda and the rest of helpers around. They're doing a very fine job. Something better than I could have ever done. As far as I stay there and see what's going on, I think it's the best thing that I've heard. Maybe if I die tonight, it's one of the best things that we all enjoy in here.
And to the committee, to Yolanda and Carlos and everyone who saw the vision. You know, the Bible says where there is no vision, the people perish. You gotta have a vision about where you're going. You gotta have a vision that brings people together. This parade stands for that kind of vision, and I salute you and God bless you.
Sometimes I wonder to myself how he did it. However, I am quite willing to take on the challenge. What we are doing is using the foundation that the organization that my father has laid, has put forth for us, using that foundation to move forward. And by that we mean basically taking the organization to another level, not just focusing on the parade itself or the 4-day weekend during the Labor Day holiday, but otherwise we want to focus on other events throughout the year, such as voters registration, which we have done at the health fairs that we've held during the summer so far, focusing in also on the citizenship drive. So that those are the areas basically.
Gosh, we are so busy because we're in the stage of reorganizing and building on the legacy that Mr. Lezama has laid for us.
We at CAR sowed the seeds of the Caribbean culture, which started out as a modest local event celebrating the West Indian presence in New York, to the largest parade in New York State. This massive Caribbean cultural explosion has earned recognition and is targeted by all New York politicians, religious organizations, and NGOs. During the 1970s, under the leadership of Mayor Koch, the festival flourished.
Right by the police station.
During the 1980s, under Mayor Dinkins, the festival was marred by tensions. Tensions that developed between the Jewish and Caribbean communities and that seeked to discontinue the parade on Eastern Parkway.
What they call in authority.
Under Mayor Giuliani in the 1990s, strict rules and regulations were introduced to control the festival with increased police presence. Mayor Bloomberg enforced time constraints, and the festivity was over at 6 p.m. sharp. With rapid crowd disbursements, all music trucks were silenced, and the New York City Sanitation Department were on the heels of the last band.
Everybody want a piece of me, brah.
Under Mayor de Blasio, Juve bands were not allowed on the streets until 6 a.m. with NYPD checkpoints in, around, and within the festivity. From Harlem in the 1940s to Brooklyn in the 1960s, the West Indian Carnival created the advancement of the Caribbean community in New York, socially, politically, and financially. And in 2020, the rhythm stopped. The festival was canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic. I am Lady V, presenting our Caribbean culture to the world. Remember to wear your mask, and thank you for watching.
I'm William R. Howard of Weatica, and I would like to thank the PAN people, the mask people, the vendors, the children, the police department of the City of New York, and you, the Caribbean people, and have made this festival the largest in the city and in the state of New York. So as we gather, come share the vision and strengthen the belief.
Thank you for making Caribbean Insight your #1 stop for culture. Today we have over 10,000 subscribers. You have showed your interest in keeping Caribbean culture alive. We are offering you our t-shirt collections, shirts that invoke thoughts and empowerment. They are collector's items and memorabilia. For your participation, go to the link below and make your contribution to foster the value of our Caribbean cultural stories. Thank you for your support as we continue to develop.
But I would like to see the younger generation participate as well and get them all involved and get the spirit moving.
Hey TV viewers! Thank you for checking out CaribbeanInsightTV.com and visiting our stores. Remember, your contribution is vital to the Caribbean cultural revolution. Thank you for watching.